If you think the Book of Enoch is interesting, wait until you hear the Book of Giants. The Book of Giants was discovered in 1947 in the Dead Sea Scrolls discovery. The manuscript is dated to the 2nd century BC at the earliest, but could be much older. The same narratives as mentioned in the Book of Enoch of the fallen angels, their corruption of mankind, and their destruction through the flood of Noah is mentioned all throughout the Book of Giants. The scroll was found deteriorating, leaving only fragments of text, but the pieces of text we do have hold incredible information. The Book of Giants describes in great detail the fallen angels corrupting the genetics of all flesh that was on the earth. It tells us specifically in one of the fragments, fragment 1Q23 1 plus 6.
200 donkeys, 200 asses, 200 rams of the flock, 200 goats, 200 beasts of the field. From every animal, from every bird, were selected for miscegenation.
Miscegenation refers to the mixing of races or species, particularly in the context of sexual intercourse. The next text that follows makes it absolutely clear that this wasn't referring to different species breeding with each other, but actual cross-species genetics involving the seed of the fallen angels themselves. It's important to notice that giants and monsters are referred to in unique, distinct references. We know from Genesis 6:4 that when humans and angels mated together, that the offspring they produced was giant humans, half human, half fallen angel. Fragment 4Q5312. They defiled, they begot giants and monsters. They begot, and behold, all the earth was corrupted.
Through this we can come to the conclusion that these fallen angels were breeding with animals, and their offspring would be half animal and half fallen angel and very large in size. This reality would make sense with all the ancient depictions of monsters and creatures. Maybe those creatures weren't figments of their imagination, but actual half-human, half-fallen angel monsters roaming the earth. These beings maybe could have even held the capacity to think and reason just like the giants could. We know that giants have the capability to hold conversations because of the account of Goliath challenging and enticing the armies of Israel in 1 Samuel 17:8-10. A fragment of the Book of Giants also confirms some of these monsters having the ability to reason and communicate. When some of the giants had dreams of their destruction and shared these dreams with the monsters. Fragment 4Q530, column 2. Thereupon 2 of them had dreams, and the sleep of their eyes fled from them. And they arose and came to, and told their dreams, and said in the assembly of their comrades, the monsters. These monsters didn't hold the same connection to the fallen angels as the giants. The Book of Giants and the Book of Enoch describes the fallen angels' close connection to their children, the giants. Whereas these monsters were their offspring, they weren't cared for as deeply by the fallen angels as the giants were. Here's a verse from the Book of Enoch. And inasmuch as they, the watchers, delight themselves in their children, the giants, the murder of their beloved ones shall they see, and over the destruction of their children shall they lament, and shall make supplication unto eternity. The Book of Giants, fragment 4Q530, fragment 7. The children of angels are the giants, and they would not let their loved ones be neglected. All throughout the Book of Giants, the giant children offspring of the fallen angels and humankind were having ominous dreams of their destruction. One of the giants has a dream of a tablet with many names submerged under water, and when lifted from the water, only 3 names remained. This dream symbolizes the destruction of all the unpure fallen life forms on the earth through the flood of Noah. The great flood of Noah now makes sense. Noah, his family, and the animals that were brought onto the ark were brought on not because of their righteousness, but because the rest of creation had been corrupted by the fallen angels and their genetic manipulation.
angels were kicked out of heaven, and what they taught mankind may shock you. This revelation also helps us to see the full picture as to why God flooded the earth in the days of Noah. It wasn't to be mean and vengeful, but to wipe out the fallen angel Nephilim and their offspring, the giants, who corrupted mankind and taught them forbidden knowledge we still use today. Before the great flood of Noah that flooded the entire earth, Genesis 6:4 tells us that there were giants in the earth in those days, and after that, when the sons of God came into the daughters of men, and they bare children to them, the same became mighty men which were of old, men of renown. These are the fallen angels who rebelled against God and were kicked out of heaven, leaving their first estate as mentioned in the book of Jude. When we look to the book of Enoch, an extra-biblical text not found in the Standard Bible, we can learn the destruction and devastation the giants were creating on the earth at that time. In chapters 7 and 8 of Enoch, the fallen angels who fell and came to earth took women as wives, just like mentioned in Genesis 6:4. They teach humans magic medicines, incantations, the cutting of roots, and about plants. The origin of folk medicine is therefore ascribed to these angelic beings. The children of the angels are giants standing 300 cubits, that'd be 450 feet tall. These giants eat so much food that humans cannot feed them anymore. The giants proceed to eat humans as well as all other kinds of animals. In addition to teaching humans to interpret a wide range of signs, they teach humans medicinal magic. The angel Azazel teaches humans metalworking, including making of ornaments and weapon making. Azazel also teaches humans how to make eyeshadow and other physical ornamentation. Other angels teach humans how to track the stars, astrology and divination, and the signs of the moon. Enoch chapter 69 verse 18 tells us of the angel Gadriel, who taught people how to perform abortions and how to strike people so they die. The stroke of the embryo in the womb to diminish it. The stroke of the spirit by the bite of the serpent, and the stroke which is given in the midday, the offspring of the serpent, the name of which is Tebet. These angels are responsible for teaching humans all sorts of sinful practices. Humanity fell through Adam and Eve's sin in the Garden of Eden, but once the fallen angels came to the earth and taught humans even more evil, their sins completely overtook them. Genesis 6:4 tells us this fact. Then the Lord saw that the wickedness of man was great in the earth, and that every intent of the thoughts of his heart was only evil continually. The reason for God flooding the earth was to cleanse the earth of the fallen angels, their offspring the giants, and the evil forbidden knowledge that they taught mankind that had overtaken the earth. We understand this further because God says why he chose Noah and his family to survive the flood. He says because Noah was pure in his generations, meaning he had no one in his bloodline who corrupted themselves with mating with fallen angels. Genesis 6:9. This is the genealogy of Noah. Noah was a just man, perfect in his generations. Noah walked with God. Some Bible teachers may say this verse says Noah was sinless, and that's why God chose him, but as soon as Noah and his family made it to dry ground, Noah sinned with drunkenness and lewdness. And of course, as we know, all have sinned and fallen short of the glory of God. That's why Jesus came, to be the sacrifice to wipe our sins away, because all human beings have sinned and fallen short. Again, God mentioning in Genesis 6:9 the genealogy of Noah and perfect in his generations has nothing to do with sin and everything to do with his bloodline.